Marukyus scientists this year have been extremely busy, and we've been working on a new range of powder baits, that's ground baits, called Luxus. This Luxus range is really very clever, incorporating a lot of technology from Japan and China, and in fact from our pro team and field testers from all over the world. It doesn't matter how good a bait is if it's not easy to use. So there's two important points about a powder bait. Does it catch fish? That's an obvious question. Yes, it does, because the Marukyus scientists have been working on it. But is it easy to mix? And it's staggering how many powder baits are difficult to mix and the angler can't use them. I'm going to show you very simply how to mix ground bait. To keep things simple, the ideal situation is to be able to duplicate your mix as many times as you like during a competition. I'm not a believer in mixing one big bucket full of ground bait to last me all the match. I know the fresher the mix, the better it is, the more you'll catch. But the problem for a lot of anglers, well, if I don't mix it all together, how can I make it exactly the same halfway through the match? With Marukyus products, it is simple. All you need to know is a water to bait ratio and have a simple measuring container. We've all got them. I'm using a pole pot here today. I've got some dry powder bait here. This is the new Luxus range. Comes in two forms, either a normal, what we'll call a match blend, which is very explosive, or a method blend. The method blend is important in the way it reacts. It's got to break down more slowly. But we put a lot of time into this, and all you've got to remember is the number 3. This is a 3-to-1 ratio mix. Okay, so we can put 3 parts powder bait to 1 part water. And all you've got to remember is that the method product breaks down 3 times slower. So we can't get much more simple than that. Get yourself a reasonable mixing bowl. Use whatever measuring container you like. In this case, I use a pole pot because I'm sure everybody who goes fishing is carrying a pole pot or some measurement. Get yourself a round container. I've used a bowl here. Flash it round. It's as simple as that. Leave it for 3 minutes, 4 minutes. It's ready to fish. There is no need to riddle. If you've got to riddle a ground bait, in my view, something's wrong. It's got to be easy to use. So it's as simple as that. That's how we're going to mix it. But how are we going to use it? Well, like I've said to you, we can use it on the method. We can ball it. We can use it in an open-end feeder. Every application and every way you're going to use this bait, I guarantee you are going to catch a lot of fish. The Luxus range of baits is the most versatile range of baits that we have ever produced. I said to you how easy it's got to be to use, and here we've got a method mix 3-to-1. Very simple. Press it into the method, and this will be any method. The first thing you'll notice, it doesn't stick to the method. That is important. There's nothing worse than trying to get it out. But the next thing, it doesn't matter so much about that. It's how it works. Will it attract fish? So the method mix is made to break down 3 times slower than the feeder mix. And here you can see that it's hit the bottom. If it was 4 foot of water, perfect. You can start to see it break down. You can imagine if you've got a hook bait anywhere near that, it's going to come down. The fish is going to come down. It's going to engulf it. You can also, if you look closely, start to see the haze of attractants coming out of this. This isn't just fish food. This is fish bait. Every fish you've ever caught's got a nose. If it's got a nose, it means it can smell. And so Marukyus incorporate, yes, we incorporate food, but the bait part is mainly based around smell and how the fish detect the food. Marukyus also have a Luxus match mix. What's the difference? Very little at first glance. We're going to mix it exactly the same, 3-to-1, but it will break down 3 times quicker than the method mix. There is absolutely nothing worse when I see people fill a feeder up with ground bait, throw it out, 2 minutes later, wind back in, and the ground bait is still stuck in the feeder. That is absolutely a waste of time. So, if we look closely, we can see it's just at the bottom. Let's say it's 4 to 5 feet of water. It is active instantly. Already you can see the difference in the speed it broke down from the method mix to the match mix. There it is, full of attractants, drawing the fish down, the perfect combination. We're ready to go, and it's as simple as that. Luxus ground baits puts you in total control. I talked to you about the methods we can use it. We can put it on a method, we can put it in a feeder, but we can also ball it. A lot of people today, especially match anglers, would put it into a pole pot and cup it in. You're still in total control. I can vary the breakdown speed by adding a little bit more water, by squeezing a little bit harder. But the important thing, it needs to be active. Let's imagine we've got 4, 5, 6 foot of water. Think what happens to that bait and how it's going to attract the fish. Let's see what happens. 6 foot of water. It's not quite even at the bottom. Right, it's just at the bottom. We can start to see all the flavours racing out, but most importantly, it's active. And active baits draw fish. That's what gets them excited. And of course, we've made it where it can hold multiple components. You could put corn in there, you could put casters in there, you could put anything you want in there. So, just by varying the squeeze, varying the amount of water, you are in total control. I've just been explaining how versatile this new Luxus range of products are. We talked about balling it, we talked about how to use it on the method, we talked about using it in an open end feeder. I've now just walked up to Jamie, who is an awesome angler. He tells me there's another great way of using it. Jamie, what have you got up your sleeve?
Okay, well, when we're fishing in the margins in particular, in extremely shallow water, I think you've overlooked the fact that we can actually cup this ground bait in loose. So mix it in exactly the same way on the 3-to-1 weigh shape, but we don't squeeze it, we don't put it in a feeder, we simply put it into a pole cup, loose, and tip it in to our shallow margin, where we'll then fish with the new pellets over the top of it.
That's why you're in the field test team, to find these things out and tell me and Marukyus scientists how good these products are.
I'll show you how to feed it now, Roy.
Go for it.
Been catching a lot of fish today. We've been simply, as we say, feed the ground bait loose to create a nice cloud in the water. And the ground bait's got enough weight in it to sink it and create an attractive cloud in the shallow water of the margin.
That looks awesome.